So our second and last speaker of today's summit is Maya Mibenge. Maya is the head coach and founder of Simply Squash Academy in Zambia. And after spending 20 years in banking, in 2019, she decided to follow her passion and get more women and girls fighting fit on the court. Today, she will be discussing the vision behind Simply Squash and its plan to launch its 2021 initiative, Hit Like a Girl. I love the name of this campaign. It's so cool. Hit Like a Girl. In search of new talents and to also engage more girls to find their power through sports. Maya, the stage is yours.
Thanks very much, Kanzi. All right. Hi, everybody. Maya here from Simply Squash Academy in Zambia. Okay, but basically, first things first, I just like to say thank you very much to Sportages for inviting us to this event as Simply Squash. We are fairly new, fairly quiet. We were lucky to have sort of bumped into them last year, where I wrote an article for Sportages as well. Just hang on one second. Sorry, I'm just trying to send the presentation through. Sorry about this. Sure. Okay, sorry everyone. I'm not sure what's. Okay, I think I have managed to send it through. I'm just going to get started. I'll go through the presentation, and if anybody does want to have it, if I'm not able to share it, then they can always contact me and I can go through and run through it with you separately. So what Simply Squash is, basically for the summit, Simply Squash, we're empowering women and girls, and we say one hit at a time. One hit at a time. Everybody that comes in, we've had people who have never held a racket before, had a variety of ages as well. So what we're trying to do is create an atmosphere for women to get on court, participate, and also help us grow the sport in Zambia, and hopefully regionally and internationally as well. So we launched in 2019. When we started, we were borrowing space from a club and basically colliding with, but we had a huge success last year. Despite COVID, we managed to find our own courts, and we moved out, and we're managing and renting our own courts at the moment, where we're managing our own membership, and we're managing our own customers as well, and we are growing. Our mission is realizing the full potential of women and girls through sports to match their mental and emotional strengths. And our vision is offering a unique wellness experience by producing premier squash coaching for women by women. I would like to say some of these we've tweaked these a little bit just as a result of COVID. We had a lot of changes, and we also had to appreciate that in as much as we are trying to get women on court, there's a lot of ripple effects. A lot of the women that we have brought their husbands and their children to court as well, which we've taken on, and that's been fine. We've also started to appreciate the fact that even if the women are competing, if women are competing against women, we have an advantage that we can also compete against men and raise our game. So we're also hiring some new male recruits as well, but predominantly we're women run. So I'm just going to give you my backstory, okay? So my journey, okay? After almost 20 years in corporate banking, about 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, I signed up for a squash session almost accidentally. I was trying to fit sports into my work life. I was young and I was not exercising, not doing anything. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And coming from a tennis background, it was the most reasonable thing to do because it was 24/7. I didn't have to worry about the weather. I didn't have to worry about the time. I was just able to play whenever I wanted to, and it fit around my schedule. In the 15 years that I was playing socially before I started coaching, I only played 3 women socially. Other than that, I would play with a male coach, and that would be it. And there was a few women coming in and out of the clubs. They'd come, they disappear, they'd come, they disappear, etc., etc. So, as I said, I wasn't really able to find anybody to play socially. So basically, I was squeezing my squash games around my career. But 3 years ago, I started to squeeze my career around my squash, and I was playing 5 to 6 times a day. And again, still not playing with women, still looking for women to play for. And basically, in 2019, Simply Squash was born. And I was asked very simply, why did you start this? And I remember saying, I said, I just want women friends to play with. That was my basic explanation of the whole thing. But I realized women have a different mentality to sport. in as much as we play strong, we also want to socialize. So it was trying to create, we were trying to create an environment for women to be able to play safely, to play against each other, to play with a female coach, and to just sort of rise to the occasion. And as I said, rise they did. As I said, they brought in their husbands, they brought in their friends, they brought in unsuspecting children. You know, we've had a huge growth because of that, focusing on the women who are decision makers to that extent. So what are we aiming to do? We're aiming to empower through a combination of sport, mentorship, and education. Sport we've chosen is obviously squash, close to my heart. And how we plan on doing this? So initially, as I said, when I started, I just wanted squash friends, squash female friends. And we started the recruitment. I recruited two girls, more on them later on, 3 coaches, more on them later on. But the ladies that we recruited were corporate women like me. So, you know, so I knew what their what their headspace was. Work hard, family, children, you know, school run, you know, all these other things that women are trying to balance. And I knew what the constraints were as well, because for me, I knew one of the things about squash was time. You know, if I was supposed to play at 6, but I had a meeting finishing at 5:30, I was never going to make it there alive. And there was a lot of cancellations and rescheduling. And I remember I always had to play in the evening because that's when the coaches were available at my club. But I'm a morning person, so I kept saying if I could play at 5 in the morning, you know, 5 in the morning, play, get shower, and go to the office, I'd be able to kill it. So one of the things that we've done with the ladies that we have, we've created that opportunity. We open at 5 a.m. and our last game is at 7 p.m. We're hoping to automate our courts as well, our lights and things like that as well, so that people will be able to swipe in and play 24 hours if we can so manage it. Not with a coach 24 hours, but they can play 24 hours socially as well. Other thing, women-focused exercise spaces are minimal here. There's one gym I'm aware of that is for women only. Other than that, everything is sort of like a co-ed. And we did have a group of Muslim ladies coming through to our courts. You know, it was women. You know, our cleaners were women, the coaches were women. So we're able to dive across different cultures as a result of our of the course that we're now running and maintaining as well. Then what I also found about the ladies is a lot of people come to us, it's a reactionary instinct. You know, I've been told I need to lose weight, or, you know, I've got high BP, or et cetera, et cetera. What we try to do, what we're trying to do is we're trying to offer them a space where for the ladies who haven't reached the stages of BP or weight loss needs, et cetera, we're trying to almost create it so that it's preventative. You know, for the ladies who need to lose weight, play squash, the weight will come off. You know, the ladies who are at that age where they need to start exercising, play squash, you know, your health levels are out of the roof as well. So on that, so these women that we now have as our members, I mean, we offer them one-on-one sessions, we'd offered a squash boot camp before COVID, and we also have networking and social tournaments for them as well. We were running them once a month. COVID numbers spiked. We've shut that down again. But we have done an out-of-town trip to a town which is about an hour and a half away that had a squash court, which nobody knew about. We went there for a weekend. We organized it as a squash retreat. And it was just a nice weekend. Everybody was able to get away, you know, play squash. I think one day, we were playing until 8:30 p.m. I think before we almost swept off the courts, and we just stopped because we were hungry. And I think the next morning we were on court by about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was a nice break for women. This is sort of like we say, it's their self-care. You know, it's the benefits health, the benefits, you know, social. They get to network as well. So it's an all-inclusive. The other things that we want to introduce like a nutritionist. As I said, we're trying to make sure it's an overall wellness for the women, and also alternative exercises on site, just to draw in some more people, because I tend to find that a lot of people don't know a lot about squash. Even a lot of the people who have come in, I've asked people, have you watched the squash game before? The new ladies, some will say, oh, I saw it in a video for about a minute, and I have a feeling the Queen's Gambit is going to get us a little bit of publicity because they were playing squash inside there. Yay. But other than that, people don't really have the knowledge or even watching the games, etc., like that as well. So we're hoping if we can start combining other exercises, whether it's, you know, it's a Zumba class and on part of our course, on our course, part of our hall. You know, people are able to see us ladies playing and see different shapes, different sizes of ladies playing as well. So we're hoping that will draw in more ladies. But the beauty about these ladies as well, they come in as mentors. Because there are a group which is like over 23. They're established in their careers, or they're trying to change their careers, or they're already mothers, or they're about to be mothers, or they're newlyweds. They're established in their careers, and they've decided to make health a priority. So those are the people that we want to be mentoring our Hit Like a Girl campaign students when we get there. But before we get to the Hit Like a Girl campaign students, we have another category, which we're calling the Ready to Launch. These are the girls age 18 to 21 who have just finished the grade 12, Form 5. And there's a gap year here in Zambia, as people have to wait for, I think, almost 12, 13 months to get into university after they write their grade 12. They're going into the University of Zambia. And in that 12, 13-month period, all sorts of trouble and toil can happen during that period. So what we did, even our first recruitment, this is where our assistant coaches, our coaches who were then interns, came in. We recruited 2 interns. They were both had written their grade 12 exams and are waiting to go to university or waiting to go on to the next step of their lives. We recruited them in as interns. They stayed with us as assistant coaches, and now they're full coaches. And they play according to their schedule. And that's sort of the structure that we're looking for as well. We will need permanent staff as we grow, but for now, we're trying to make sure that we're keeping them busy, and also trying to engage their age mate as well. So what we offer to the Ready to Launch group, we really offer employment opportunities, one-on-one coaching if they want it. We want to do group sessions for them as well, COVID allowing, and mentoring and networking circles, because they also have access to the players, to our professional to our career women players. Then finally, we have our junior group, which is the girls. And these are the Hit Like a Girl target students. We're saying for this group, as there'll be some boot camps, we're saying age 11 to 18, but our youngest client at the moment is 4 years old. She comes in with her parents, she hits 3 or 4 balls, she has a snack, I play with her parents, she comes in, hits a few more balls, and she heads out again and has another snack. So, I mean, she's 4, but watching her parents has got her to have that interest in hitting a ball. So for the Hit Like a Girl, we will have the mentors. The mentors, as I said, will be our players, and we'll reach out further if need be. But we've got such a diverse background of ladies that for us, we're almost, I think we're almost fully covered. I'm not saying 100% covered, but we're covered in role models, people who are prioritizing their work and their health as well. Even when they were in secondary school. So we're trying to create that emphasis. They have people that they can talk to about their careers, about their health, who can tell them about, I didn't exercise for 10 years and look at me, not look at me now as in to scare them, but to more, if I'd started this 10 years ago, I'd be 10 years healthier than where I am at now. So, so those are for the girls. And with the Hit Like a Girl campaign, there's the mentors, and then we're also at the squash, which is a sport, and education. The education aspect rose up because of COVID. There's been lots and lots of talks about a lot of girls getting pregnant during this, young girls not going back to school, getting pregnant during COVID. But one of the reasons being was, firstly they're cut off from school. Some of them, school might be their safe space, say their safe place from whatever is happening at home. We're not sure, but there was a spike. And why I wanted to bring in education is we'd like to have a facility that is able to house these girls, so that they're able to, for those who have fallen back because of COVID, or for those who are even just trying to keep up because of COVID, but we want to have a center where these girls are able to do their homework or to sort of catch up. If they need assistance, we can offer them assistance, or we can try to see how the best way is to get our girls through, get them through school and onwards as well. So that's where the education aspect is coming through in that. And then we would also have junior competitions as well for the kids, for the girls as well. Just, in as much as they're networking with our mentors, they're networking with each other. They have a new peer group, which they can use for support, for advice, and they can also come through to us as well. And that's what we sort of want to create a gel for them. So they have a common standing ground, which is what we'd like. So my next slide, which I know you can't see, sorry about that, is our team. So at the moment, there are 4 female coaches. We have 1 male assistant coach and 1 new female intern. As I said, we're a growing team at the moment. We are covering everybody. We are working around people's schedules. We're trying to make sure that we're trying to make sure that if, like, one of our girls was accepted at University of Zambia Veterinary School, so she predominantly plays on Saturdays, Sundays, and in the evenings as well. And please bear in mind as well, these two, when they came in as interns, they were both sporty. One of them played tennis, and the other one played volleyball. No, played netball, football, and something else. She's a machine. But basically, we did an intense training session, which is what we're doing now with our new intern. One of the interns has already been turned into an assistant coach, and one of the interns was also turned into a coach because she had coaching experience. She had playing and coaching experience as well. So we're trying to make sure that we're drawing in we're drawing in the characteristics that we want. And yeah, that's basically our team. And I know in Lusaka, I would like to be bold to say that we are the only academy or club with in-house coaches. Usually everywhere else is a freelance coach, which was another reason that the ladies have a lot of challenges. If you have a coach, and this happened to me, I had a coach and he died after I paid him for a month and a half. So those are the challenges that you can have. So, but for us, we have in-house coaches. If your coach is not available, there's somebody to cover for you. If your coach is late or unprofessional, we have repercussions. We're trying to create a standard, a professionalism, and we're trying to be ethical as well and fair to our customers, basically. Squash in the time of COVID. So COVID, we were like 6 months when COVID hit, and we luckily survived. We had a lot of great customers. We had a lot of people that popped us up during that time as well. We had a lot of support. We had a spike again in January in Lusaka, in Zambia, and we kept the academy open with the mentality of play safe. Our coaches are masked up. We're sanitizing. We're encouraging everybody, because we were used to provide equipment to help to reduce that cost on newcomers as well. But we're now trying to, but we sanitize. I think we only have like 3 or 4 customers who are still using our rackets, but otherwise everybody else has bought their own kit. We've set internal COVID protocols, and we're following the government guidelines. So basically, to wrap up, what is our future vision? So the 2021 hit like a girl. We'd like to launch this campaign. We're engaging government officials, we're engaging different departments. We're trying to find the girls from low income that need this help. And we're also going to try to match it up. We're going to try to match up with girls across all groups, different schools as well. We're approaching schools, we're approaching, entities that might be able to help us as well, so that we can have these junior boot camps, especially when it's slightly safer inside this whole COVID scenario that we're currently in at the moment. We want to get as many girls on court, and as I said, we've hired a male intern and would do corresponding junior male courses as well, probably on a smaller scale, but just to get the kids interested inside of sports and the values of it and the benefits and the networking and the mentoring as well. But what our big vision is we are trying to build our own multifaceted sports center. It would be predominant, well, we're biased if we would lie if we said that it wasn't focused around squash, but we are looking at, we're at the real initial stages. We're looking at land. We're looking at building. We're looking at building, whether we say 3 indoor courts and 2 outdoor courts, or, we're trying to figure out what the logistics of that looks like. We're trying to put tennis courts in. We're trying to find other racket sports and then also coordinate into this whole thing so that we have, so it's not just, as Alan was saying, a hidden squash court somewhere. We're trying to make sure that it's multi-purpose. As I said, a lot of the ladies we target bring in their children. So it would be 100 times easier for a mother to come in and play, and her child who's too young to play squash, or not interested in squash, to take swimming lessons, as the mother is playing, or, have a center where people are able to actually to tap into different types of sports, and as a family as well, so that we get the kids engaged in different sports, whatever their strengths are as well. We also want to house an athletics recovery type of center. We want to have a chiropractor, a physiotherapist, a masseuse, etc., etc., etc. I think we kind of wing it with our health. Even for us, myself and the girls, we've had injuries and we kind of keep playing. We kind of limp around a little bit, but we kind of hop around and then we're okay. So what we want to do is, so what we would actually like to do is we'd like to make sure that that we have somewhere where, even from the beginning, a nutritionist as well, even from the beginning, if somebody has an athletic tendency, because especially like my background, I think if I had said at age 19 to my parents that I wanted to be a squash coach, I don't think that would have gone down very well, you know. And I mean, the passion came later on when, lucky enough, they can't disown me, or, you know, or something else. But, you know, we want girls to have the option, girls, boys, especially, to have the option of athletics as a career. As I said, like now, all of our coaches, we're all working part-time. We go in as and when we're needed. We do our coaching sessions, we get commission. But we'd like it to be solidified so that when we are busy, we do have, like, whether we say 2 full-time coaches and the rest of us are still coming in and out, so you can still earn income. But so that's our headspace around that, you know. And even, like, you know, somebody wants to be a chiropractor or a physiotherapist or a masseuse, those, you know, they'll have offices, they'll have a place, they'll have clients, you know, where they can build up on that as well. We'd also like to start hosting regional tournaments for juniors and professional players. This is particularly women-focused. We want to make sure that the women have, you know, our seeded women have, like, whether we say a quarterly tournament, so that they keep track of their records, they're able to play regularly, and, you know, and on our courts, we're trying to sort of structure that so we can find a way we can give them a prize money match to the males, equal prize money like that as well. The junior females as well, we'd like to also make sure that that's a base that we're also trying to grow as well. Okay, so then we also want to create a fund to support athletes locally, nationally, and internationally. With this whole crunch that's been happening, we've been so busy trying to scamper to get ourselves together. But if we if we'd opened 10 years ago and we had a Zambian playing professional squash, we would have been like, sorry, you know, COVID, you know, we're also affected as well. But we want to have a fund to make sure that if we are able to identify talent, we can push them to the forefront and we can support them. Because I know squash can be lonely, especially when it comes to funding, you know, and we would like to be able to do our bit, whether for our own athletes and for international athletes as well, with the funds that are out there as well. And then create an educational center for kids on site. As I was saying, that's to help the kids who, you know, COVID has affected a lot of people with online learning. Some kids have gone to school and there has been no online learning or distance learning, so they just lost a whole year of education. You know, so we are trying to see how we can close that gap, you know, get them to play sports, get them to do the extra educational aspect that they need as well. So basically, I mean, we have other things in the pipeline as well. We're trying to create our own clothesline range. We're launching some bags in a couple of weeks' time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We hope to grow, you know, we hope to bring some fun into squash. You know, as I said, we targeted the women, and as I said, the women are bringing in friends, they're bringing in husbands, they're bringing in children, they're bringing in the nation, basically. You know, and for my ladies who I know, some of you have signed on, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support as well. So that's basically, for us, what we really want to do is just lay down the basics to ignite squash amongst women in Zambia and to identify, groom and train new talent, offering them a chance to explore the game across and beyond our borders. So from me, I'd like to say thank you to Sportagious again and to everybody on the site. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maya. This was very, very inspiring. Thank you so much. So just to keep the session going, I'm going to read a couple of questions from the Q&A section. There's a lot of people who actually are asking a lot of questions. So someone is asking, Karen, she's asking, your brand is Simply Squash. How will that fit with a multi-purpose focus?
Okay, so one of the things that we're doing, one of our coaches actually was a tennis player, so we were looking at doing Simply Tennis. So for us, we're as I said, simply, we're trying to not complicate anything. So we've looked at it and said, just do Simply Sports, and then Simply Sports will house the different facilities, the different, you know, Simply Health for Simply Health or Simply Recovery, Simply Tennis, Simply Squash, Simply Badminton, or whichever, Simply Swimming or whatever it is. But we put this under an umbrella company, but squash would be our priority sport to start off with, because that's where hopefully mine and the other ladies' hearts lie as well.
Amazing, thank you. Next question. Have you faced obstacles, or has your academy been warmly accepted and supported?
Ooh, we faced a lot of obstacles, a lot of obstacles. I was having a conversation with somebody. I said, if I'd known all of the challenges and some of the dramas and some of the arguments that we'd had, I think I said before I started looking for squash friends, I don't know if I would have done it. It's a funny struggle, as I said. Not a lot of people are aware of squash, you know, and those that are aware of squash is quite a close-knit group. So even us moving out of where we were playing from, which was my home club, and moving to NASDAQ and running our own clubs, has given us that separation and a chance to bring in totally new clients to the game, which has come in as a nice surprise.
Okay, amazing. We have another question. Maya, you are a role model. Are you succeeding in developing a network of similar groups, say in Botswana?
We would like to. COVID slowed us down. We had, like last year, we had a lot of plans that we were supposed to have done last year. And I mean, I'll say a simple one, like even us getting our level 1 certificate squash coaching for all of our coaches. That was going to be like a 6-month requirement for anybody who joined us. And we were going to go into the region as well. I worked in Zimbabwe for a year. I know coaches there. So I'd wanted to sort of start reaching out, but when COVID came in and so many things shut down, you know, but we are looking, because we would like to be a regional, whether we stay SADC or whether, you know, further than SADC, we'd like to engage Egypt for their coaches, you know what I mean, if we can. You know, we'd like to sort of, you know, create that buzz within the region. You know, so if there is anybody that's out there that is interested, as I said, right now, because of COVID, we're just, you know, sometimes we're swimming, sometimes we're winning, sometimes we're losing, but we do have a plan for how we'd like to expand regionally. Because we're discussing franchises, or do we just, you know, go out there and set up, you know, something separate? Or so we're having a lot of discussions. We are a year and a half old, so we're not toddlers, but you know, we're walking in a little bit of a shaky way, but moving forward still. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And one more question. So I can't find it right now, but I remember it. So someone was asking, how do you reach your ladies? How do you reach that specific audience in Zambia?
When we first initially started, it was predominantly social media, Facebook, Instagram. You know, Facebook I always know is an older crowd, you know, and Instagram is a younger crowd. So initially when we started, we're reaching out to Facebook, and that's why, you know, like our oldest player is 58 years old. She's almost 60. And our youngest player, which came out of Facebook, I think is about 26. But a lot of our Instagram people were the ones who were like 22 to 26 sort of type of area as well. So a lot of it was social media. And then now we're growing a lot by word of mouth. Again, thank you to the ladies that we have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Maya, for your time. We really appreciate it. For everyone else who has asked questions in the Q&A section, I apologize if I haven't gotten to them. But fortunately, when we end the session, everyone will have the opportunity to network for another hour. So feel free to ask Maya all of your questions there, and you can also sit with other speakers. You can visit the sponsors booth. You can find exhibitors there as well. So feel free to not miss this networking opportunity.